Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. In this video, Chris Pearson and I critique and review and tear down the IWillTeachYouToBeRich.com website and DIYThemes, which is Chris's site. Now, the first site is Ramit Sethi's. I'm a huge fan of Ramit and actually the whole team. I've purchased multiple courses from Ramit and the team there. However, we did have some recommendations on the homepage. So we dig in pretty deep. We don't hold anything back. By the way, this is part of a series of teardowns. And we looked at Marie Forleo's site. We looked at Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income, as well as my own site, Niche Site Project. So if you like this critique, you should definitely check out the others as well. Check the description for the links to those. Leave any comments if you have questions. The cool thing with this particular critique is these two sites that we're looking at are distinctly different, very different in the implementation and what they're trying to do. But in both cases, you'll be able to learn good things and bad things and things maybe that you should test on your own homepage. So let's get over to the teardown now. Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project, and we have my friend Chris Pearson. How are you today?
Yes, what's up? Doing great. Good to be here again.
Awesome. And you're from DIYThemes, Thesis, and the Focus WordPress themes. So any other quick intro stuff?
You just better hope your page doesn't come into my crosshairs because I'm going to blow it up. Let's do it.
I'm a fanboy for all these things we're looking at here today. So I will teach you to be rich, Ramit Sethi, and kind of some similar stuff going on, but
yes. So this is great. I actually love that we see some similarities because these are design trends. These are trends. And these are designers and website owners looking around the internet saying, oh, we see this happening. I want to do this too. Trends are the worst damn thing you can possibly do because almost every trend hinges on some measure of convenience or ego. Ego is something that the site owner, the website owner, you, whoever we're talking to here, wants to do for you. You look better. This seems strong. This seems like a good proposal. This looks good. The problem is that's all what you think. The only thing that matters to your visitors is what they think. And what visitors want is stuff to load quickly. When visitors come to your website, they do so on a promise now. 10 years ago, we went to websites because it was cool to browse websites. Unfortunately, nobody browses websites anymore. We browse social media feeds and we click through to specific pages, not necessarily home pages, whenever we see something that looks important to us. We click through on a promise, something we can expect to find when we land on the destination website. If that site doesn't deliver on exactly that message, I click through for tips on, saving money or whatever, and I don't see that here, I'm not going to take a quiz. I'm not going to look at your nav menu. I'm just going to leave. I came on a promise. You didn't deliver. I'm out. That's the way the internet works now. We have to understand this. Social media feeds are so addictive and so dopamine rich that when people click through, if they're not satisfied immediately, they're gone. They're going to jump right back to the social media feed and look for things that continue to give them that dopamine fix. If you deliver on the promise that sent people to your website, you reinforce that dopamine feedback loop, then you can get them. You have captured their attention. But their attention's fragile. And if they come to your site and you do not capture it, you do not understand the transaction that's occurring, you will lose. And so these hero approaches, this is a stab right here. I love this. This quiz is a stab at engagement. But this is something they're testing, I'm sure, and it's getting some engagement. But who knows how people are being driven, what promise people are being driven to his homepage with. I feel like this is probably people that click start the quiz, probably taking random actions because they just know that Ramit is someone important that they should be following. And they come to the site, they're kind of just farting around, which is a small percentage of visitors too, by the way. But then they come here and they just engage with this because there's really nothing else to do. I would argue that Ramit has put enough value out there, free and paid, that he does not need to do his homepage in this manner. He could establish an engagement funnel that works better than this. And that also sells what he has better than this. But I do like that at least this is the only option people have. Now, whether or not this is the best option for them to engage with, I can't answer that. I don't have access to his site metrics or what his current goals are. But the rest of this stuff, the social proof, I don't care what you'll get. What you'll get with what? What are we getting? You just asked me to take a quiz, and now I don't even know, like this. How is this germane right now? I don't see how this matters at all.
Yeah, it's no continuity with that.
No, and he's got another call to action for the quiz. Boy, they're really pushing this quiz. I'd like to know why. Why should I take this quiz? What is this going to get me to do? I came here. You're I will teach you to be rich guy. I want some tips. Like what? Can you not present this in this manner? Do you not know the 6 things that people look for when they come to your site? Like Ramit has data. He knows these things. I think this is a bad homepage right now. What's beneath that last call to action?
Nothing. There's
nothing. He's limited engagement, so he's going to get engagement with the quiz. This will work to satisfy that need. It could work even better. If he's going to do this, just freaking get rid of the nav menu and all this other shit. Just get rid of it.
I was going to say, I've done this on my homepage where I've removed most of the options. No nav menu at the top. It's at the bottom, and you only have like maybe about and blog. Like those are the only 2 options, right? So you're like, get rid of the nav menu, maybe put it at the bottom, something like that?
There's just no informational process flow that tells me why I should click on anything here. There's literally nothing. And there's no promise for the quiz. It looks to me like in that section below that I said was useless, it looks like you might get some stuff after you take the quiz, like a white paper or something actionable. If so, he needs to say that up at the top, not this what you'll get. What you'll get with what?
Right. You take the quiz and then you'll realize you don't make enough money. I think that's...
Yeah. We already knew that coming in. Yeah. And I know he's not going to tell me to save $5 on lattes, which is great, but let's.
Right. And I guess the other thing to note is like we're picking folks that are well established. Again, like Ramit has a book, a new edition out to his book. Go check out his book. It's a good book, but it's like...
Ramit has fantastic advice. I definitely recommend, his stuff, but his homepage is garbage.
Okay, it loaded pretty fast from what I could see, but I'm on a like gigabit situation.
They've made some decent optimizations. It's not great. Smart passive income. They did the best they could. Boy, that thing is a huge dinosaur. But they've 3.538 seconds to document complete on Pat Flynn's site. The page is 1.29 megabytes. That's huge. Contrast that with the DIY Themes homepage, which I think is something like 200 kilobytes. So 1/6 the size. And Pat's site has 56 requests for document complete. That is just a boatload of requests. But like I said, they've done the best they could trying to fit all that crap in there and still have it load fast. I'm gonna while we're talking here, I'll run a test on Ramit's site and we'll get a little bit more concrete data. But the hero thing, it's just a way it doesn't translate between different devices, a vertically oriented device, a horizontally oriented device, 0 translation there. It loses effect. This promise on his homepage, he's probably looking at the numbers saying, oh, well, the quiz is getting good engagement. Well, that's because your nav menu is boring. There's nothing to tell me how to parse it. And this is the only option you've given people, even if the other flows on the page don't make any sense. Anecdote, on DIYThemes.com, I got rid of pretty much all options to link and go places. I still have a navigation menu in my footer. Since I changed my navigation structure on July 6th of this summer, the engagement with the links in my footer has gone way, way up. There's a reason why this is the case. People now go all the way through my pages. They get down all the way through the content, which they didn't do as much before. So now they're all the way to the bottom of the content. They're going, well, what the hell do I do now? They're mindlessly clicking on crap in that bottom menu. My privacy policy page has gotten more visits since July 6th than it got in the previous 10 years.
Yeah, when you were redesigning stuff, I was like, what am I looking for? So yeah, I was like trying to find stuff and just clicking around. So I probably was like a couple dozen of those.
Yeah, well,
it works. And quick note is we're just waiting for some of those results. Like I've purchased a few of Ramit's courses, some of the more expensive ones. I never took the quiz. So I never took the quiz. Like I went elsewhere. So
I think this is interesting. I'm sure he knows, but like we know from like telemarketer data and from other brand data that people are very reticent to take quizzes unless you get offer a freebie. So I find this odd. I find this whole presentation odd. And I think, too, like I said with Pat Flynn's site, it's true of Ramit's site as well. When you are a big presence, you have books, you have videos, you do interviews. He's probably going to get 500 visitors today through an interview he did with Tim Ferriss years ago. Okay. But so he's got all these streams just leading people to his site with an idea about what they can expect. The way this is going to work for him is going to be better than it will work for you because of this. And I'm saying it's not even working that well for him. And he's got no way to look at clean data now because Ramit can tell, hey, take action. And he's going to get a much higher percentage of respondents taking action because he's Ramit Sethi. He's viewed as being authoritative. Yep. So it's hard to unravel this stuff once you get to it. But it's really all about understanding how attention works. And if you give people a chance to click on random crap, they will do that. That gets them into a mindset I call aimless browsing. Aimless browsing does not produce money for you. Doesn't produce opt-ins, doesn't produce leads, doesn't produce engagement, does not produce money. You don't want people browsing aimlessly on your website. You might have in 2009, so you had good metrics, but they don't matter if it doesn't convert. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Okay, Ramit's site loads in 5.72 seconds, document complete. That page size, that tiny homepage, which is much smaller than Pat Flynn's, much smaller, doesn't do, we went through it doesn't do anything. Ramit's page, 2.82 megabytes. For what?
It's all those, this huge image here or something, and he has really good skin, it looks like, thick hair, like you, Chris.
Yeah, maybe he wanted that really high resolution, so he looked as good as possible. Listen, I just did a big image on a little project I just took on over the weekend. And optimizing images is a huge, huge deal. I had an image that started off at about 600 kilobytes, and I squished that effort down to about 59 kilobytes for production use on the website. This is what you have to do. And, speed, performance, accessibility on all devices. You're in line at Chipotle looking this up on your phone after you click through from a tweet with a garbage 4G connection with one bar. You don't have time to load Ramit's beautiful face. You just don't.
No. Do you eat at Chipotle a lot?
All the time.
Big fan. Yeah. What's your go-to? What's your go-to order?
Okay. It's a bowl, no rice, very easy on the black beans, add veggies, hopefully more onions than anything else for anti-inflammatory qualities. Barbacoa, a little more than just your regular scoop. I know what they do in training. I don't care. I want more. Pico, hot, cheese, guac. Perfection.
That sounds awesome. I may go there later today or you must be a spokesperson for them or something. So
I should be. I guarantee
you put it in my head.
Since the year 2000, I have eaten more Fresh Mex between Qdoba is another one and Chipotle since the year 2000. I've eaten more of that than anyone on the planet. I guarantee it. Qdoba had a customer loyalty program where every 10 visits you got a free burrito. And they used to do punch cards. Well, once they switched to like a credit card style, I had redeemed 110 free burritos on the card. This was after I'd gone through many punch cards on that. So that suggests 1,100 burritos. And then I had another card with about 100. So I had redeemed like 210 free ones, which suggests over 2,000 burrito purchases. And not only that, I used to receive free ones all the time because I went all the time. So I knew all the staff. They're like, hey, no, you don't have to pay. Yeah. That kind of thing. So you start adding that up. It's like, my God, man, how much did you eat there? Yeah.
That's great. Well, and you're in Austin. You have many choices for great, fresh Tex-Mex kind of stuff, right? So.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to turn into Tex-Mex when I'm like 60.
All right.
So Ramit's site also 45 requests, very, very slow. No reason for it to be slow, just brutal. It's a terrible homepage. Homepages need to be fast, need to be to the point. This one is not. He might say, oh, the quiz is what I want to satisfy right now. Okay, great. You win the argument. I leave.
All right. So for contrast, and I guess a place where you can reveal some data, Chris, we can go to DIYThemes, where you have recently sort of simplified a lot of things.
Yeah, so this is the DIYThemes homepage. So the biggest thing I've done recently, and we talked about this, is the navigation. Okay, so I do have a menu here at the top. It's very simple. I know the queries that bring people to my site. It's for the new Focus WordPress theme, old stuff about Thesis, which is still relevant, And then I've got a new blog with some content about, modern performance techniques, things to do to make WordPress websites faster, that sort of thing. And I got to log in for existing customers because that's a convenience thing for them. But let's click on focus. Okay. Now we have a breadcrumb trail at the top. Breadcrumb trails are not options in the same way that navigation menus are options. Breadcrumb trails describe a pathway, a linear pathway. Linear pathways are like the most fundamental thing humans use for wayfinding, for navigation. It's like a path, a trail in the park. You can't screw this up. You just stay on the trail, and eventually you'll get where you want to go. That's what a breadcrumb trail is all about. This introduces zero cognitive load. A user looks at this, understands what it is, doesn't think about it anymore. They just know it's a security blanket. Hey, if I want to go back, I can just do this. Then they're not thinking about that. Also, I talked about funneling. You don't want to just vomit everything on people at once. I don't want to link to focus, documentation, and pricing on the homepage. You're either here to look at focus or you're not. If you are, you clicked on focus or read the copy and clicked on it through there, got there through a different route, same result. Now on this page, that stuff is relevant. You might want to look at focus documentation, especially if you're an existing user, and you might want to look at pricing if you don't currently have the software. These are what's the number one question people have? Is there more information? What's the price? So I'm only showing these options within this particular funnel because I know you're here for focus. This is now what's relevant to you. And you'll notice there's only 2 options. That's not asking too much of you. If you want to make this decision, I'm confident you will be able to do so.
Okay. Quick interruption. So just to restate, so when someone's on this page, this is the menu that they have. This menu doesn't show up in other places, right?
That is correct.
Got it.
And then if we scroll down a little bit, this just deep dives into focus stuff. There's no sidebar. There's no other stuff to do. It's just you go through this, you learn more about this product. I want people learning about this thing on this page. That's the only thing that, that's what will lead to you either connect with this, or if you don't connect with it, you'll leave, and that's fine. I don't have to capture anything. I don't have to ask you for your email address. This is either going to work for you and you're going to be interested and go farther or not. And that's fine. And I don't need to badger you to try to get you on a list or do an exit intent pop-up because you suddenly scrolled back up and that indicates you might want to leave. And now I desperately want to get you on the list because I might not make this sale. No, those are desperate, crappy tactics that also slow down your pages. Like, don't look desperate. Pathetic.
I see we have a link here, so this dives down into some documentation. So you're giving a little how-to, and you're hoping people will think, "Hey, I like that. I want to do a little more." So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. This is actually a test. That link, the presence of that link. So I've presented quite a few videos here. I don't even talk about all the aspects of focus or do the normal theme thing, like show the 27 critical features that people are looking for. It's just stupid. I'd rather people watch me demonstrate the software in these videos. And so I have a really persuasive video that actually it's a long video. That's why I link it to a separate page here to kind of see if people will go to that and then take action. It is having that effect. But that page, if you learn how to create rich, engaging pages with focus, if people watch that whole video, they will buy the product. So I definitely want to link to that because I know it's a potent video, but I also know not that many people are watching that full video. It's a very small percentage, about 6% of people that go to that page. And I don't know which percentage of those are existing customers versus new. Okay. But it is persuasive. No other theme does what I show there. That really shows you, if people are wondering like, oh, Gutenberg, I can do all this cool stuff with my posts. I show you how to destroy that with a simpler editor with using basic focus stuff. Could not be easier. Anyway, linking to that because I feel like it's very persuasive.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
And that's okay. You want to drive people deeper into the funnels that you have. And I have a lot of focus stuff, and I'm just picking and choosing the little pieces I want to expose people to at this point in the process.
Right. Top navigation is pretty simple, and then you have the full menu, this is a full navigation down here, right?
Yeah, part of that footer presence is for legal concerns and also for search engine optimization, which we talked about before we came on the air. Mm-hmm. I have been doing a bunch of SEO optimization and have taken various measures to increase the visibility link-wise of various pages on the site. So I don't love that there's that many options in the footer navigation menu. Like I said, people get to the bottom of my pages now and randomly click on these, and these really don't do a lot for me because I get them to the bottom of the page, and if they're not fully engaged trying to go deeper to learn about focus or whatever, they're just going to take some random action. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's the difference between that and then force them to scroll back up to the top? There's not much.
Right. Okay, cool. Anything else on DIY themes that you want to point out?
You click the blog link there. I think we overdo blogs. I think we really overdo blogs. This could not be simpler. I'm not presenting a bunch of content. I'm not showing excerpts. Nobody wants to read that. Just have good titles. If it works, people will click on it. And not only that, like I said, we don't browse websites. Every one of those posts, except for that special report, that was a little test I'm running. It's been very effective. That link is getting massive engagement on this page. I knew it would. So if you have like white papery type content or like conceptual stuff that you really want people to buy into, this is a great way to present it. It looks important. It goes to a simple page. People engage with that content because it's designed for people just to start engaging immediately. And it's been effective. That's driven a couple sales right there. That's great. But there's other links. These are just regular blog posts. How do people see your blog posts now? Well, you link to them in an email you send out to your list. You link to them on Twitter or Facebook or wherever they engage through social media and end up directly on that page, not on this page. So why have a blog page that shows a bunch of excerpts and, basically presents people with a ton of stuff? It looks imposing. People don't want to consume a lot of content. You don't want to greet people with a wall of text. It's a very bad idea. So this is simple. This accomplishes the SEO benefits of linking to the stuff, like linking a headline to a full article page would do. There's just basically no reason in 2019, given the way we use internet, to have a slow blog page that does anything more than list your damn posts.
Right. And one thing I want to point out too is that, I was brainwashed by a lot of folks who were like, oh, you want to have like these custom images. So I don't know why. And then basically you put the blog title on some image and then you fill up this blog page with these images and like the excerpts like you're talking about. And, really, I don't think people really care if I did a custom image for whatever blog post. Like, they don't really care. They just want to read the information, at least for my site anyway. So.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. I'm going to pull up a thing. I've got an old post on DIY themes about when to use images and like what the maximum, like the best effect of them is. And it actually has nothing to do with the image itself. It's quite funny. So while I locate this, though, the Marie Forleo report finally ran here. Her site loads in 12.8 seconds, has 146 requests. The DIY themes homepage has 7. And it's 5.6 megabytes. This it's not the worst web page I've ever seen. It's very, very bad. This is a patient in the hospital who is very sick. It's not looking good. Not looking good.
But she's been on Oprah, so she could commit a couple
I guess I will say her site is not working for her as well as it should, but for somebody like her and for a lot of these people now, the website is not a very important channel. Is not nearly as much as video and podcasts. But here's the thing. Part of the reason for that is because these websites are terrible. If these websites were simpler and better, this would be a very facilitative resource. Very. You could link to it in descriptions on YouTube. The page loads immediately with exactly the promise of the information that brought people there. That is an enhanced transaction, and it builds trust. If people built their whole repertoire on this kind of cause and effect, delivery, promise and delivery sort of mechanism, they would get a lot better results, and these websites wouldn't be neglected, and people wouldn't be saying, this doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm gonna pull up my site so we could kind of run through that one. But Chris, while I'm doing that, can you just kind of give us a little data that you have with engagement after you've made these changes?
Yes, that's a good question there. I put that in an email. Let's see if I can find that email with the exact data. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing to say is I changed the navigation for DIY themes on July 6th to this breadcrumb and funnel based structure where I give people no options basically. And what is very interesting about this is that, so I had to do this because Google shut off 91% of my traffic in April. And so with a lot less traffic, I was seeing a lot less sales. And so I had a problem that I had to address. I needed to make the absolute best possible use of the traffic I did have. I had to maximize what I had because I didn't have very much. So pressure put me in that situation. By making this change, I was able to increase the value of my traffic by about 27% across the board. Page views per session went up 27.56% after instituting this arrangement. You might look at that and say, well, the deal is I had fewer options to browse around with the new structure. So how can you have more page views per session if you're linking to fewer things? The deal is engagement. People are more connected with what I have. I do have a couple links in the content. I do have a couple links in the top nav. My informational transactions are tighter. People like promise and delivery is much more clear. There's not like a random, just link to this because this is an important asset. I give people a specific reason to delve deeper, and that results in better engagement. It's not rocket science, but when you look at the last 10 years of internet and you just see links everywhere, it's like, that's kind of it's kind of like a counterintuitive thing, which is just insane. So page views per session. So if someone comes to my site, they're viewing 27% more pages than they were before. The average session duration, that means the time people spend on my site, is up 29.5%. There's a concomitant factor here, and that is people go farther down my pages. They consume more of the content. They watch more of the videos. They're clicking on more things. Bounce rate is down 8.4%, and it was already down a bunch just because of focus, because I don't have a sidebar. There's not a lot. It's not imposing visually to look at any of my pages. I always try to break up the top section so there's like a sort of summary that you can read and expect. I bold stuff for easy scanning. I try never to have an imposing wall of text that isn't broken up by something that looks interesting. I don't have any images here. I kind of want some images there to kind of just be visually exciting. But here's the thing. There's just no imagery that's currently going to go along with any of this stuff that helps it. It's just not going to help it.
What about, well, you've obviously already thought of this, but I was just like, what about some sort of analytics data, like what you're describing, where it's like engagement's up and people see like the green number with a plus 27 point whatever percent? People like those sort of graphs, right? Yes.
So I could put something like that in. That's a great point. And that might be the type of imagery I need to put out there. Absolutely. If you go to the thesis page on this site, some imagery is pertinent there, especially since I kind of do a deep dive on explaining it. So you will encounter some images there. The focus page just has videos because I think the videos tell a lot more than one silly picture is ever going to tell. But if you go down, it's like pretty far into the content when I start throwing images out there. But like to explain some of these concepts, I start to introduce images where it's appropriate. Sure. So people can kind of see what to expect. That's a little one, obviously. There's a couple more. But, obviously not going overboard with it, but I'm not doing a hero image that adds absolutely no value. Site owners, I want to impress this point upon the audience to the maximum. You want images because you think it looks cooler. Your visitors absolutely do not care. All it does is increase loading times and force them to scroll through a little bit and take more of a vertical scroll, especially in a mobile environment, to get to what they came to see. If it's not 100% germane and actually enhances the value of what you're trying to say, like helps you say it better because the picture shows you what words cannot, it should not be there. Not some calming picture of a woman at a beach holding her hat with the sunset in the background. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with your content. Does not help your message. Does not matter.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot for joining me today. This was enlightening, and people could find you at DIYThemes. Anywhere else you want to people to check out?
DIYThemes for now, or my Twitter if you're an absolute savage. Right. Careful. But definitely check out DIYThemes and, just this message of simplicity. And the unspoken benefit of this whole thing is when your website is simplified in this manner, it's easier to run. The design's easier. Your customizations are easier. Stuff that breaks is easier to troubleshoot and fix. I can't tell you how many sites I see where somebody's like, oh, my email form's effed up. And I go in to look at it. You can't just fix the email form. There's like 18 layers of entanglements because they're using Divi and this other page builder. And they've got this other stuff and caching. And they don't know how to undo all these parts of the process so they can make one intuitive change. My whole thing is keep it simple, keep it intuitive for everyone, your visitors. And by doing that, you'll keep it intuitive for yourself so that you can be adaptable and be agile and make changes that actually produce positive results.
Well said. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for having me, dude. This is fun.
Thanks a lot to Chris Pearson from DIY Themes. Definitely go check out DIYThemes.com. By the way, this is part of a series of teardowns. And we looked at Marie Forleo's site. We looked at Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income, as well as my own site, Niche Site Project. And of course, the DIY Themes site that we already looked at here. So if you like this critique, you should definitely check out the others as well. Check the description for the links to those and leave any comments if you have questions. Thanks.